Every marketing budget has to go somewhere. The question most business owners never stop to ask is what happens to that money after it leaves their account. Spend it with a national ad platform or an out-of-state vendor, and the transaction is over the moment it clears. The money leaves the region and it isn't coming back. There's no relationship on the other end, no person who remembers your last order, no chance that dollar ever finds its way back to your own customer base. It just goes into a much bigger machine somewhere else. Spend that same dollar with a business down the road, and something different happens. That business pays its employees, who live nearby, and spend their paychecks at other local businesses. It sponsors the Little League team, buys lunch from the diner on Main Street, and orders its own supplies from other companies in the area. The money doesn't just get spent once. It circulates. This isn't just a feel-good theory. It's been studied for years, and the research is remarkably consistent. Civic Economics, a research firm that's run local multiplier studies in cities across the country, has found that independent local businesses recirculate around 48% of every dollar they've taken back into the local economy, compared to less than 14% for chain and out-of-region competitors. The American Independent Business Alliance, which has compiled data from those studies, puts it another way. For every $100 spent at a local business, roughly $68 of it stays in the community in the form of wages paid to local employees. Some individual studies, including one out of Portland, Maine, have found multipliers as high as 5 to 7 times for certain categories of local spending. Small businesses aren't just recirculating money either. According to the U.S. Small Business Administration, small businesses account for roughly 2 out of every 3 net new jobs created in the country. Every dollar that stays local isn't just economic activity, it's a piece of that job creation engine. It's easy to assume this argument only applies to the businesses you can picture on a main street, the print shop, the hardware store, the diner. But the same logic holds for almost every service a growing business needs. Take a local accountant instead of a national tax prep chain, a regional insurance agency instead of a call center in another state, a local IT provider who shows up in person instead of a help desk attendant you'll never talk to twice, a nearby caterer for the company holiday party instead of a national event services company, a local marketing or design partner instead of a freelancer platform that routes your project to whoever's available that week. In every one of these cases, the same multiplier is at work. The money you spend either stays close enough to circle back to you, or it doesn't. Print and direct mail happen to be a good example because they're tangible and easy to picture. Order a batch of mailers from an online printer 3 states away, and once you hit submit, that money is gone. Order the same job from a local shop, and it's more likely to end up back in your own pocket eventually as a referral, a repeat customer, or just a slightly stronger local economy that can afford to buy what you're selling. When you place an order with a national vendor, whether that's print, ad placement, or any other service, you're a line item in a queue. There's no one on the other end who remembers your last deadline or your last mistake. You're an account number. When you place that same order locally, you're building a relationship with someone who has every reason to know your business, your brand, and your deadlines. Because that vendor is embedded in the same community you are, referrals tend to flow both directions. The local printer, accountant, or IT provider you work with is also talking to other business owners in town who might need exactly what you sell. Here's the question worth asking before the next budget gets finalized. If every dollar spent locally has a real chance of circulating back to you, either as a referral, a repeat customer, or a stronger local economy full of people who can afford what you're selling, what's the actual return on a dollar that leaves the region and never comes back? National platforms and out-of-state vendors aren't going away, and there's a place for them. But they're a closed loop. The money goes in, a service comes out, and that's the end of the transaction. There's no multiplier, no relationship, no second-order benefit to the community you actually operate in. Local spending works differently. It's slower to measure and harder to put on a spreadsheet, but the research backs up what most business owners already sense. It compounds in ways a national invoice never will. If you're a small business owner in South Jersey or the Philadelphia area and weighing where the next dollar should go, whether for print, professional services, or anything in between, it's worth asking a simple question about every vendor on the list. Does this money stay in the community I'm trying to sell to, or does it leave the moment I spend it? That's not an argument against digital marketing or national vendors across the board. It's a reminder that local isn't just a feel-good label. It's a different economic engine, and it's one that keeps working long after the invoice is paid.